Why isn't the delete button working? What's going on here? Wow, this is cool. This is
supposed
something
to work this
completely
way.
different.
Wow, this is crazy.
Oh, nice.
Who
This is something
gives a
completely
shit?
different. Sure. This is
Oh,
unbelievable.
I see.
You know what? Buck FIM. Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Buck FIM, the new AEC podcast talking about everything architecture, engineering, and construction. We are looking to expand this podcast. We have a lot of amazing guests coming up, but today is extra special because this week we are all about the shipping containers. And especially this week, we have a wonderful guest on the line. His name is John Sheedle of Container, that's CNTNR, who is specializing in producing shipping containers used for residential applications. Now, I'm obviously watering it down. There's a lot of really cool applications for this, and I don't want to cut it short. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce Mr. John Sheedle himself. And John, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did Container come to be?
Thanks, Dennis. I appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit about what we love to do day in and day out here at Container. Container is an interesting story, at least from my perspective. It came about as the result of an introduction I had the good fortune of having with Adam Morris, who is currently my partner and CEO. Both of us were working in the development consulting space and construction. And I, at the time, was working with another company who was attempting to get container housing business off the ground. Adam actually was looking at ways to get his development projects built faster and occupied faster. Well, he and I came together and realized that we had a shared passion for finding efficiencies in the way buildings are built, as well as looking for more sustainable options in the construction process. So that led us to explore shipping containers. And we actually built the first two spec-built shipping container homes in Canada out in Edmonton, Alberta. And from there, things have really just taken off.
That's awesome. This is something I had the opportunity to speak to Zenon of Citizen Care Pod earlier this past week. And, it's really awesome to see what's happening with shipping containers. And you're starting to see the benefits of a modular approach. So are you expecting this type of construction to be a benefit to residential builds?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, the benefit can be demonstrated on a number of fronts. When you think about both the design, construction process, and the end use of a residential building for the customer. So for us on the design end, at Container, we've striven to create a vertically integrated company where we have design as a part of our company infrastructure. So there's really, for a client, a smooth transition from design into manufacturing, into site work and assembly. So I think from a number of vantage points, there's some advantages on time as well as cost. And I think one of the big impacts is the sustainable perspective. The construction industry generates an awful lot of waste, and I think there's no secret there. But what we've chosen to do in pinpointing shipping containers is our fundamental structural building block. We take used shipping containers that have typically been in the logistics industry for about 10 years.
Okay.
And then we purchase them, and then we turn them into buildings and give them another life for 15, 20 years. So for us, the idea of being able to give useful material another entire life just has some really fantastic results.
Yeah, that does sound amazing. And I have had the opportunity to see a couple of the builds. Are you seeing any limitations from a design standpoint by using shipping containers?
There certainly are some limitations. You're working with standard size steel boxes, 8 by 20, 8 by 40 are typical sizes. And there are some limitations that we see with respect to finished ceiling heights on interiors.
Yeah.
That being said, we're still able to get pretty generous interior heights. And I've got to say, our design team is world class in terms of their ability to take containers and combine them in very creative ways to produce really just about any building product that a client's needed. So anything from like a garage suite to a 3,000 square foot single family home to a front back duplex to a 6-story multifamily.
I
All
guess,
these things can be achieved with containers.
yeah, definitely. I guess that makes sense when you can stack them up in modules and, cut out different spaces as you need them. That sounds
Yep.
awesome. Yeah, so I'm assuming that for something like this, it's more of a prefab scenario. I assume that you would be assembling these off-site.
Yeah, that's correct. So we've got a new facility located in Welland, Ontario, that we just opened up. That facility, when it's fully operational, will be able to produce a capacity about 24 finished containers in a 24-hour period, uh, which is
That's
a
impressive.
pretty incredible production rate. Now that finished container is finished to approximately 90%. So that means all your interior finishes are complete. Um, Cabinets, countertops, plumbing, electrical fixtures, everything's in and done. And on the exterior, the majority of the cladding is installed and in place. So these go out to site nearly finished, and the buttoning up process on site is pretty limited.
That's amazing. I mean, it definitely saves a lot of extra time and it adds that extra added value of QA, QC to a project. I had the opportunity to speak with and watch Mark Beauvais speak from Bone Structure, and it was very, very similar in the application that, any given time, I will always invest in QA, QC. And construction
Yep.
has their holdbacks, but being able to control the outcome to at least 90% from a manufacturing standpoint, that's key to making a prefab solution work. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just going to throw this in here too, Dennis, and I apologize for
yeah,
cutting
no,
you
go
off on
for
the
it.
QA/QC side of things. Um, every single 40-foot shipping container that goes down our line undergoes 40 detailed checks. So we've got 40 separate, discrete quality control checklists that are completed for every container that goes down our line. So when you talk about QA and QC, our process is pretty extensive. And so absolutely the caliber and the consistency of the product we produce is simply something that can't be matched by site construction.
That's great. Yeah, we just don't get that on site for the most time. It's hard to pinpoint all that, but when you have a system in place and you can control it in a factory environment, that's, especially not having to deal with weather constraints and be able to build in a safe area, especially from a safety and risk management perspective. It's huge.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that really helps with that whole process in terms of ensuring quality is the whole data management piece, and that's something that's often overlooked. And I think a lot of other guys that do modular, some of them appreciate this factor, others don't. When you start talking about 40 checklists per container, there's also obviously a whole host of other data that has to be managed, tracked, distributed on a daily basis during production. And so for us, we've discovered that having a really slick and thorough data management solution inside of our facility is key to our ability to turn out consistent product quickly. And we believe that at least here container, that's kind of what sets us apart.
Yeah, it's funny in my time in the industry, you see people call it a data stream, but it's more like, a stream being stopped by a dam and then somebody taking a bucket and taking the water and putting it over the other side. So
Yep.
it's very interesting to watch how data is becoming more fluid and removing those dams and controlling it in a more cohesive fashion. So it's great to see. So you know, containers is fairly new, and there's a lot of great things happening with this shipping container and prefab movement. So, what kind of plans do you have for the future of container? What kind of residential style projects are you working on?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I mean, our big plan is to take over the world eventually.
Of course.
But in the short term, we're currently working with a number of developers for purpose-built single-family and multifamily projects. So
Perfect.
projects ranging from single-family affordable housing projects up to 5 and 6-story multifamily market rate projects, and a lot of stuff in between. So there's quite a wide range of what we're working on at the present time. Our plan eventually, though, is to move to a fully built out product line. Similar to other sorts of retail products, we actually want customers to be able to make a selection from our website and say, that's the building I want. Here are your customized options. Let's put it on your piece of land. So moving from, while not abandoning a customized solution for developers, we're moving towards ultimately being able to offer a robust product line for clients who are either in the single or multifamily space, coming from a variety of different perspectives.
Oh, for sure. Slap an Amazon sticker and get it delivered to your front door. No, it'd be
That's the future.
there you go. So it's so for somebody like say a developer or builder or even a client who's looking to approach a situation like this, who would they reach out to, and how would they start with a product like this?
Yeah. So best way to get in touch with us is via our website, CNTNR.ca. There's a communication portal there where someone can reach out and we'll get back to them within a day or so. They can also contact my business partner, Adam, our CEO, directly. And he's always happy to talk about new project opportunities.
Awesome. And now, I mean, I did miss this question. I thought this would be a great one to add in, but we are seeing obviously with a factory environment such as this, the ability to now add in some extra smarts into our applications. Like, does that now give you the capability to think more outside of the container, I guess, or more inside the container, as you would speak?
Yeah, outside the box or actually inside the box, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying there. Yeah, it does. One of Container's core values is to introduce a product to the market that takes smart tech to an entirely new level. So the vision is for the smart home of the future, but realizing it today, where your home knows when you arrive and provides you all of the data you need that's important for your home to function well: maintenance data, security and health data, comfort and convenience data.
That's great.
So we're currently working on the technology that really allows us to ship you a home with a brain, essentially, that gives you all the data you want in an integrated and convenient fashion. So that's, of course, a big direction for us. And we see that really as introducing a paradigm shift in people's expectations when it comes to what their house will be and will do for them. And obviously doing that in the context of a manufactured environment, it allows us to develop and integrate our smart technology in a much more effective way, simply because of the weather controls and the quality controls that go with a manufacturing environment.
Can't complain there. For someone like me who loves talking to their home all the time, that's a great solution. Yeah,
Yes.
I swear I get in trouble for talking more to my house than I do to my wife. So it's it's kind of crazy. But you know what? I'm happy to see the industry going this way. There's obviously a lot of technology backing it. There's a data track, which, now with machine learning and AI and IoT, we're starting to see a lot of integrated systems happen in this industry, and educating the rest of the industry on how prefab is going to be beneficial. It takes companies like yours to be able to showcase that it is possible and there are huge benefits to it. So I just wanted to thank you, John, for jumping online. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the BuckFim podcast on either YouTube or on any of your favorite podcast platforms, such as Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. They're all up everywhere. You can take a look at any time. And yeah, join in. Stay tuned for the next week. Thanks again, John, for joining us. It was a fantastic podcast, a great series. I love hearing what you had to say about Container.
Thanks, Dennis. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Tune in next week. Take care.